Welcome to another episode of Almost Ordained. I'm your host, David, and this is part of an ongoing series called Faith in a Time of Coronavirus. Whether you're a person of faith or not, I think it's very important that we all do what we can to stop the spread of this virus, including social distancing, wearing masks and gloves if that is not possible, washing or sanitizing our hands and surfaces and things like that, which we all should know by now. But as much as I try to follow these guidelines, I'm reminded from time to time that I'm not perfect. Like today, a local ministry dedicated to shepherding addicts through recovery was having an annual barbecue fundraiser. I wondered why they would do that at a time like this, but the flyer said it was takeout only. Okay, like restaurants were doing. I ordered a quart of barbecue and went to pick it up this morning. I wore a mask and gloves, and it appeared I was the only one. I maintained 6 feet distance from everyone in front of me, but not everyone else did. I don't know if there was anyone behind me. Once I got my barbecue, I figured I'd better leave ASAP. I could sanitize the container when I got home, and we would heat it before we ate it, so despite everything, I figured I was still playing it safe. I ran a few errands, again with mask and gloves and maintaining 6 feet. I got home and put everything through sanitizing protocols. I greeted my wife. We kissed and hugged. I said to her, "This would really suck if we couldn't do this." She said, "Actually, I'm a little concerned that you were out there among people who weren't socially distancing and you haven't showered yet." Oh, crap! I even told myself on the way home, I need to shower. Somehow between the door and the bathroom, I forgot. That's one example of how this thing can sneak up on you. I pray that the precautions I took protected us both, despite my little lapse in judgment. But this is a reminder to not just wash your hands, but shower if you think you might have been exposed. I remember seeing a video diary of an ER nurse as she kept checking her PPE during the day. Then, when she went home, she had to shower and change her clothes before she could greet her children. Granted, the chances I was exposed are not nearly as great as hers, but this is the thing I try to remember. I socially distance from you so that I don't have to socially distance from my wife. No offense, but I'd rather get physically close to her than you. That's my COVID-19 PSA for this episode. Now, I want to talk a little about mental health during the pandemic. It is presenting a number of extra challenges for people with mental illnesses. If you've watched previous videos or read my book, Dark Nights of the Soul, you know I was diagnosed with clinical depression. In one of the videos I also shared this week, I've felt those challenges more acutely than since sheltering in place orders began. Before the pandemic, I had weaned my antidepressant medication down from 100 milligrams to 25 milligrams. To be clear, I did that slowly over several months. This is not the kind of thing you want to do cold turkey or without telling your doctor. I was doing well with it until the pandemic. This week especially, I have at times felt overwhelmed with stress and anxiety over it. Yesterday, I called to tell my doctor I wanted to go back to 50 milligrams. The outgoing message said the office was closed. They would reopen on Monday and don't bother leaving a message because it won't be answered. Say what? Just the day before, you sent me a text message saying you were open to receive sick patients and well patients and to call if I need anything. I needed something, so I called during normal business hours. And your message is you're closed and you won't return my message? Why did you bother to send me that text? Fortunately, I still had some 100-milligram tablets. I cut a few in half to make 50-milligram tablets. I took one last night, and I am feeling much better today. We'll see how the next few days goes. But for anyone who is diagnosed with a mental illness, this is a reminder to take care of yourself mentally as well as physically. If medication that worked before isn't doing it now, talk to your doctor. I'm going to when the office reopens. If your doctor is not available at the moment, hopefully you have learned other things to do to help. And if it's really serious, Google the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. I probably should have looked that up before I recorded this so I could share that with you. Okay, but medication is not a silver bullet. It is one tool in recovery, but to really recover, you will need several tools. In fact, I listed 22 tools for recovery in my book, and I'm using every one I can. Certain activities have been shown to alleviate anxiety and depression. This week I've been working in the yard. You might be thinking, that's no fun. But it's actually very good for mental health because you are getting 4 natural antidepressants in one. Exercise, sunlight, being in nature, and soil. That's right. Dirt is good for depression. Soil has mycobacterium vaccae. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm probably mangling it. But it is a strain of bacteria found in soil that when it gets into your system has antidepressant properties. That doesn't mean eat dirt, but getting your hands dirty or breathing in little particles of soil as you work with it is enough to get this beneficial bacteria into your bloodstream. If you love gardening, this is probably one reason why. And it also might explain why your kids love getting dirty. In fact, I have to tell you about this. My grandfather used to spend hours at a time pulling up weeds in the yard. The flower bed, the driveway, any place they were on his property, he would pull them up. I used to joke that he was addicted to weed. But when I had my own yard, I found out quickly that condition is hereditary. Apparently, we both liked that antidepressant bacteria. So for now, medication and yard work are getting the antidepressants flowing in my blood and to my brain. Sunlight has also been found to help your body produce its natural antidepressants, or as I like to call them, happy chemicals. It might also help in killing the coronavirus. Man, my tongue is a little tied up today. I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me on this, but I think it's general knowledge that ultraviolet light from the sun kills bacteria and viruses on surfaces. Now, it won't kill anything inside you, but it might kill some if it's on your clothes or skin. Some things to remember, though, are we don't know how this virus responds to sunlight or how much exposure is necessary to kill it. And, of course, you still need sunscreen to protect you from skin cancer. What was the line from that speech a while back? Trust me on the sunscreen. Attributed to Kurt Vonnegut for some reason, but Vonnegut swears it wasn't him. So a little time in nature, some sunlight, and a little dirt on under your nails could help you mentally and physically. Those are just a few possible tools that could help you. And of course, remember to wash your hands. No, that rule still applies. If you're using anything conventional or unconventional to help you with stress, depression, or anxiety, I would love for you to tell me in the comments, and also for anyone else who's watching this video, and maybe it might help them as well. As I mentioned, a book that includes a chapter with a list of 22 tools to help in recovering from depression. I wrote, here it is. I think in a later video, I just might read that chapter so that you have that available. But I'm getting towards the end now. I'm trying to make my videos a little shorter, just to make it more convenient for you. So I'll end it here. Thanks for watching Almost Ordained. If you think this will help anyone you know, please go ahead and share it with them on your social media or email. And I hope you'll come back for another episode. Until then, remember these words from Matthew 7, verse 12. In everything, do to others as you would have them do to you, for this is the law and the prophets. Grace and peace to you.